Valentine's Day is almost here. On the other hand, I am already here to recommend you 7 games to play with your girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other, or even with your friends. Don't let society tell you who you should play your games with. Although there are tons of cooperative games out there that I love and could recommend, I decided to choose only games that require a really good synergy and teamwork between players, instead of games that simply feature co-op but does not focus on working together to beat it. So let's start it. The first one is Unravel 2, available on every modern platform. The first Unravel was a single-player experience, but co-op gameplay was introduced in the second game and it brings a lot of new systems into play. The deal here is that both players are connected through a line in a side-scrolling game, meaning that you can't get too far from each other. That may sound like an annoying limitation, but the truth is that it opens a lot of gameplay possibilities. There's a lot of puzzle and platforming elements in this game that really requires both players to think before they act, and the feeling of teamwork when everything turns out right is very satisfying. To top all that, the controls are also very fluid. The main game presents good enough challenge in my opinion, but if you and your partner feel like you need more, there's a sequence of challenges in this game that can really be hardcore and will really test your teamwork abilities. This was one of my favorite local co-op experiences in the past few years and I'm sure you will enjoy it too. The downside here is that, as far as I remember, it features only local co-op, no online at all, and that can be an instant turn down for many people. Biped, available on every modern platform. This one was a huge surprise for me. I totally thought this was going to be some lame low-budget game with some generic co-op mechanics, but I've never been so glad to be wrong. You and your partner play as these bipeds, the round one and the square one, and you have to move each leg with its respective analog stick. That by itself can be very challenging and fun, but the game also does an amazing job at presenting new mechanics at each stage. Be it having to walk taking turns on the colored platforms, trying to keep an exact number of legs to keep the platform from shrinking, having to control boats together, and a lot of other stuff. This game is really short, but will surely keep you entertained during the whole playthrough. And if you feel like you want more, completing each level unlocks 2 challenge levels that feature the main mechanics presented on the previously completed level. This can be really challenging, but also a lot of fun if you're into it. But they're also really accessible, the difficult curve is really smooth, so it's worth a try. We completed every single stage here and loved every second of it. The best part is that there's a second game announced, so if even after all the challenges you still want more, there is more on the way. As far as I know, it features both local and online co-op. PHOGS, available on every modern platform. The premise here is similar to Unravel 2, but this time you play as this cat-dog creature, which is actually more of a dog-dog. Instead of a side-scrolling, this is a 3D puzzle exploration game. Very chill, little challenge, just walk with your partner, work together on some puzzles or simple platforming sections, and get to the end of the level and have fun. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really the target audience for this one, lacks a little bit of more challenge to me, but it's a good game and I do know that a lot of couples prefer something more chill to play together. And this one can be a perfect match for that. PHOGS can be played co-op both locally and online. The Adventures of Cookie and Cream, released for PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS. A retro game here this time, and a From Software game nonetheless, from before their Souls fame. I only played the PS2 version, so I can't really tell if my words here are also valid for the DS version. Anyway, in this game, each player controls one of these bunnies called Cookie and Cream, which I could never remember which one was who, so I just nicknamed them Maracatica and Pothead, as they move through each side of the screen. Every section requires one of the bunnies to do something that will help the other across an obstacle, be that throwing something at an enemy on the other side of the screen, pumping water to raise a bridge, turning switches and a lot of other things. There's a timer going down during every level and instead of lives, every time someone takes damage or falls, you lose a few seconds. But during the stages, both bunnies can collect clocks that increase their timer again. This always makes both players feel a sense of extreme urgency, and that can be a little punishing sometimes. However, there are infinite lives, and even if the time runs out, there's never anything like a game over. You just start the stage again from the beginning, and since every stage is really short, like less than 5 minutes short, this really isn't a big deal. This game is also a little low budget and looks more like a PS1 game instead of PS2, but it was way ahead of its time doing what a lot of indie co-op games try to do today, but back in the year 2000. Playing this game makes me really wish that From Software would give it another go, but with the budgets they have today and new technologies available. Since this is an early PS2 game, only local co-op is available. A Way Out, available on every modern platform except the Nintendo Switch. This is a Joseph Fares game, the same guy that made and received awards for making It Takes Two, which is also a co-op masterpiece and totally recommended. However, I decided to talk about A Way Out here because it's often overlooked under the success of It Takes Two. But in my opinion, it's just as good, and in some aspects, it's even better than It Takes Two. Here, you and your partner play as two inmates planning to escape from a prison. Initially, I thought this was going to be some kind of cinematic adventure focusing on choices and some simple puzzle mechanics, but the truth is that the game features many different and creative mechanics, and a very good story to accompany that. Like all other games on this list, teamwork is essential here, and both players will have to work together through a myriad of situations to escape the prison, and everything that comes after that. I won't say more so I don't spoil anyone here, but be ready for many challenges. Both local and online co-op available, and the best part here is that, since this game can't be played alone, only one person has to actually own the game. Player 2 can get a free copy that will allow them to play together with only one license. That's pretty awesome if you ask me. Super Mario 3D World, released on Wii U and Nintendo Switch. Every Mario game is a fun game to play co-op, and most of them have co-op available. My choice for this video is 3D World because it requires a lot more teamwork than Wonder, for example, which is also a great game, but with much less interaction between the players. 3D World features a collision system, and players can carry each other and even throw their friends on higher places, and that adds a lot to the fun and exploration of the game. Not to mention the chaos that is when everyone's trying to jump at the same time and starts bumping on each other and eventually pushing them into precipices and into enemies. New Super Mario Bros. U also features this system, but overall I think 3D World is way funnier. The game starts with some pretty easy levels and the difficulty scales accordingly at each world. In the end of the game, for those who are brave enough, you'll find the secret optional worlds with some really challenging levels that will really test your skills to the extreme. By now, you all may have noticed that I love challenge levels, but really, they're so much fun I can't recommend them enough. Either way, there's fun enough for both casual and hardcore couples and friends out there, as this can be played by 4 people at once. Overcooked, released on every modern platform. A modern classic of co-op, chaos and ending friendships and relationships. Probably everyone by now knows this game already, but it's always good to talk about it. If you can finish this game with your partner, then you really have someone to accompany you through your entire life. Be it a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever friend. Seriously, surviving through Overcooked requires real synergy and patience. There are 3 installments in the series, Overcooked 1, 2 and All You Can Eat, which is basically a compilation of both games with some extra stages. My favorite levels are on Overcooked 2, but All You Can Eat is probably the best option nowadays, seeing that it features everything ever released, including DLCs. While writing about these 7 games, I thought about a lot of other games that could fit in here, so maybe I'll make another video about this sometime soon. Seriously, there's a lot of material to work with, and a lot of different types of co-op gameplay that I think it's worth talking about. But what about you guys? Have you already played all of these? Will you try one of them on Valentine's Day? Tell us in the comments, and if you do play one of these, tell us how it went. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet.